Hi folks, today I'm going to show you how to replace a headlight connector on a 2007 Pontiac G6 GT. This one has the 3.5. There's a few good videos on YouTube about how to replace the headlamp, so I'm going to show you how to replace the connector in case that's your problem, which is a problem on these cars. The connector gets too hot and you have to put a new connector on it, and actually the bulb is fine. So to start out, we're going to need a flathead screwdriver, a 7mm end wrench, the connector, of course, obviously. Mine's a BWD, pair of wire cutters, and some black electrical tape, or any electrical tape will work just fine. So we're first going to start out by removing these. There's 6 of these plastic grommets up on top of the bumper here. We're just going to take these off, because we got to pull the bumper out. I just use a flathead screwdriver for these. Sometimes these get damaged. It's always good to have some of these around because you're going to ruin a couple of them taking them off. I've had to do this a few times, so these ones aren't even the stock ones. That one's really not doing anything. Okay, now as soon as you get all of those 6 out, what you're going to do is pull the top of the bumper. Just this whole thing kind of slides out away from the frame of the car. And that gives us enough room to get our headlight off. So what's holding the headlight on are these 2 7mm bolts right here. It'd be easier to use a socket and a ratchet, but they're not in there very tight, so okay, now once you've got those 2 bolts off, this headlight assembly, normally this one came off pretty easy, but if it gives you fits, it's because there's a clip in the back here. You can see how tight it is. It fits into that. It's a joke pulling this out. There's a clip right back in here, and I'll show it to you as soon as I get the headlight out. There it goes. It just comes right out. But this little clip right here is sometimes a big pain in the butt. What happens is that has to fit into a square slot. See the square slot that's right down here? This thing spins, so when it gets in there, it turns sideways. And a lot of people can damage that pulling it out. I know, because I damaged the other side. Sometimes this will bust off completely. But anyway, that's kind of the biggest pain about this whole headlight assembly, is this post right here, getting that post out. So let's get started. I'll show you where the connector is. We're doing the dim, not the, this will be the bright headlamp right here. We're doing the dim headlamp. So here's the connector, here's the bulb right here. I'm going to go ahead and bring the bulb out while still attached to the connector. Make sure you don't touch the bulb with your fingers. Keep your fingers off the bulb. All you do is detach. It's got these connectors, got the little clips on the side. It's kind of a pain. I don't care about this connector because I'm going to go ahead and ruin it anyway, so I'm just going to pull it off just like that. There's the bulb. I think I just touched it with my fingers on accident. And here's the connector. You can see I've done this before, but what happens is you can see it gets hot. There gets a lot of heat in there, and it warps the plastic. It gets so hot that it no longer has a contact, an electrical contact on the bulb. So we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to replace this connector. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take off. Try to get it as close to the coupler as you get. These are the ground wires right here. I'm going to go ahead and cut those. I'm going to cut the yellow one right here. Get as close to the connector as you can because you're going to need as much slack as possible. Now on this new connector, what you're going to want to do with this new one, if you buy a BWD, I don't know if any of the other connectors come with this little gray clip right here. I take it off because you're going to find you can't put the connector, you can't fit it down into the housing with this gray thing on right here. There's not enough room. So I get rid of the gray thing altogether. As long as you have the two ground wires here. So you got two ground wires that'll go into a ground. This one will go into the purple hot on this side right here. And you're going to need just two butt connectors, one for this side, one for the ground, one for the hot. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay, what I've done is put a butt connector on our power line and our two ground lines. You just put the two ground lines together, put a butt connector on them. And when I put the connector on, purple goes with the yellow, black goes with the black, obviously. So that'll be my next step. Okay, now that I've got the connector installed here, I got my purple to my yellow, the black, butt connectors. You can take some electrical tape and wrap them around the connectors here if you'd like. And it's also a good idea to use some dielectric grease on the terminals there. But this headlight's only going to go on this one way, so you can't put it on, you know, don't worry about that. It'll only slide on one way. So go ahead and put the headlamp on. Make sure it's down nice and tight. Put your wires, kind of just tuck them down in there to the bottom of the headlight in, put it in clockwise, and that's it, folks. Brand new connector.